Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be reviewing the Tailfin Cycling Zip Top Tube Storage Bag. While top tube bags are a convenient way to store food and gear, they can often scratch your bike's paint or move around, especially if you don't have a bolt-on setup. Tailfin's Zip Top Tube Bag is a waterproof top tube bag that's designed with an improved non-scratching mounting system with a lot of clever features that elevate it above your standard top tube bag. Packaging wise is really simple. You just have Tailfin printed on a cardboard box. And that's about it. You can see the version we have here, printed with a little sticker. I'll go ahead and open this up. We'll go over the full specs. So retail price on this ranges from $75 to $85 depending on which size you get. For the 1.1 liter version that we have here, retail price is $85. It is a fully waterproof design, so you can use this in any weather condition. Has a clever cable pass-through, so you can charge your devices on the go without sacrificing the waterproofness. And it has an internal padding setup that ensures you don't damage whatever your contents are. So if you have electronics or something else, they won't get jostled around. It also has a bolt-on or strap-on design with the hardware included. So you can do either one with everything included right out of the box. As far as what's included, you can see we have the bag, 3 different straps with one really super long one, and you can also combine the straps together if needed. The bolt-on hardware, and then this little instruction book here that shows you how to attach it to your bike and exactly what's included. Now let's look at the weight of the bag. So the bag by itself is 145 grams. And then if we use the 2 shorter straps, which is what most people should only need, it is 21 grams. Visually, the Tailfin Top Tube Bag has a classic trapezoidal shape with an angled rear portion and a gently angled top section. You have a interesting diamond fabric texture on the lower portion of this, and then there's more satin finish along the top that gives a little contrast. You can see it's also a little bit reflective here, while the Tailfin logo is fully reflective, so at nighttime these will really shine, which is a really cool feature. The bag's also offered in 3 different sizes, 0.8 liter, 1.1, and 1.5. And for this review, we have the 1.1, which is right in between. The smaller size are better suited for road bikes, while the bigger one is even better for bike packing, where you really need the additional storage. There's also a separate version that replaces the zipper with a magnetic flip version, which is kind of a cool option. So that one also is waterproof, but it's only available in the 1.1 liter and 1.5 liter for those who don't want the standard zipper design. All these top tube bags are constructed from 210D Haplon and diamond ripstop, so it makes it really durable and fully waterproof. Tailfin is also included this really cool cable pass-through on the front that ensures it stays waterproof as it's covered from the top, but lets you run a cable from a battery down to your devices so you can charge it on the go and not have to sacrifice the waterproofness. Mounting is probably the coolest feature of this bag. So unlike most bags which just have hard plastic on the bottom and basic Velcro strap, this one's actually much more well thought out. It uses Tailfin's V-mount system, and you can see it sort of looks like a V. It's these little extrusions on the bottom with this rubber covering, and you can see it's actually removable. So you have these built-in structures that are actually bonded to the bottom of the bag, and then this nice rubber cover with this texture on there. And this ensures you don't scratch your bike. So instead of just having this exposed, this will hold its place, and you can see with the V shape, it'll actually conform to a rounded top tube. It's a pretty clever design, and you can also see you also have the bolts underneath this, and then the cutouts inside that rubber so you can push the bolt through, which is also a great feature. So you can either bolt this on or strap it, and the bolts have the pre-cut slots as well with 2 spots on each of them so you can adjust the position. You can also see that there's slots built into the base, and with these slots you can run the straps through it. And you can see there's actually no front attachment, so it's only attached to the top tube, and you can use 2 straps. There's the 3rd included, so if you have a interesting geometry which is a little thicker in this front section, you can use a long one, and you can also combine these together if you really needed to. Even the straps are really high quality, so you don't just have basic Velcro. You can see it's actually this TPU material, so nice and thick and durable, and it really lets you cinch it down. So you simply slide the strap through the slot, and then you actually just flip it over and cinch it down so you get nice and really secure with this little hook here to hold it in place. And then any additional strap can also go right back through that little holder. So a nice and clean setup with an additional catch on the other side. And the great thing about that is you can really pull down on it, get it nice and stiff, so the bag won't really slide side to side, and you won't be scratching your frame because everything is rubber here. Again, you can also just mount this with the bolts. So you have both options. With this one, it's a full zipper, so you can see it goes all the way from top to bottom. It has this cool little garage on top, and that gives it a pretty sleek appearance. So on the front, you can see you won't get junk at the front of the zipper. It's nice and concealed, protects it. And then a nice little pull for the cable, or the little zipper. And that reveals a nice bright interior, so you can see it has a nice internal structure. So you can actually see this is really built to be rigid, so even though it's empty, you can see it's still nice and upright. And then on the bottom here, you even have this padding, which is almost like a foot insole. So same kind of EPA foam, or EPS foam, and it actually has these little slots in it that protects the contents from the bottom of the bag. So these plastic inserts are all covered up. And again, you get the little anti-vibration effect. So if you have electronics or something in there, they're not rattling. As far as the storage, you basically have one big compartment, plus this kind of loose mesh pocket on the side. So you can put some smaller items in here, but you can see it's fairly loose and pretty good size with 1.1 liter. And what I like about this, it's nice and bright, and you can see that cable pass through is way up in the front. So a lot of nice details that really elevate this above your standard top tube bag. Here you can see the installation of the top tube bag on our Tri-Bin bike. As you can see, you have the nice TPU straps and they go right through. You don't have the front strap. And with the strap design, unlike a standard Velcro, you can really cinch it down so you can pull it tight, and that's what really separates us from normal bags. You also have the rubber pads on the bottom, so you're not going to keep scratching up your frame like the hard plastic mounts that a lot of other top tube bags have. So once you cinch it down, you can actually push any extra cable through the bottom of the mount, so it actually is thick enough to accommodate 2 layers. So you can wrap it through, and there's another catch on the other side. So really clean installation. Then as you can see, it's very secure, so it doesn't really move around at all. It doesn't sway thanks to that rubber pad and that rigid structure. Once it's installed on the bag, on the bike, you can see it's a little bit bulky, so fairly tall. And this is the 1.1 liter. There's a larger version and a slightly smaller one. And it does bulge out slightly in the middle, but we didn't really notice anything when we're pedaling. It doesn't really rub against it. And you have plenty of storage space, and again, very nice and secure. You have the full-length zipper, so you can really access everything easily, and a fully waterproof design, so you don't have to worry about sweat or rain getting through the bag. It's also really easy to operate. You have a nice smooth zipper, plenty of room for plenty of snacks or extra gear, so it's nice and large, and with that white interior, you can actually see everything inside, which is a really nice feature. Most bags are all black, so you just can't see anything. And again, when you're riding, your knees don't really rub against it, and it's a great way to access snacks really quickly. So unlike your jersey pocket, you can grab something really quickly, eat it, and then stash it back. So it's very convenient. If you haven't had a top tube bag, highly recommend it, especially for longer rides when you need to fuel up all the time. The zipper is easy to operate, and again, very secure. It doesn't really sway side to side, and a nice bag overall. Here we have the Topeak dry bag. It's a pretty good example of a more standard top tube bag. You can see it's also a waterproof design with a fairly rigid structure and a rubber zipper, which has actually come undone here in this case as we kind of pull too hard on it. So more susceptible to coming off and very difficult to get back on. You do have a nice bright padded interior as well with the yellow, which is nice to see, but with the tail fin, you can see it's white on the sides and the bottom, which is nice. Similar size and capacity, but the big difference here is the mounting design. And this is very similar, so you have a strap-on or bolt-on with the bolt-on here, but you can see it's hard plastic and it's exposed, whereas the tail fin, they really thought about that, and they've added the rubber, so this rubber will ensure you won't scratch your frame like this one will, and you don't have this basic Velcro strap, which is impossible to really cinch down. So what happens with this bag is it kind of goes side to side, and it does have an additional front one to kind of offset that, but you need that because of this strap design, so it's very simple. While this tail fin design has this really easy cinch down almost more like a belt strap design that you can really pull on, get it nice and stiff, and ensure it stays in place. Tailfin also offers other top tube bags. Here's their rear one. So it's kind of a cool combination. You can put this in the front and this in the back. You have a ton of storage, very similar design features, fully waterproof with the same zipper and mounting. Now let's go over the pros and cons for the Tailfin top tube bag. What we like about it is you have very secure mounting with the nice rubber pads and TPU straps. You also have high visibility interior with the interior mesh pockets to help organize some of the smaller items. We also appreciate the clever details like the cable pass-through, and again that V-mount system, which really sets us above a lot of the standard top tube bags. As far as negatives, the only negative here is that the tall profile gives it a little more bulky appearance, so it might sit above your stem depending on your bike geometry. Taking everything into account would give the bag a 9.7 out of 10. It's a really refined and secure top tube bag that you can use in any type of weather. Thanks for watching this review. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can see more content from us on our website at thesweetcyclist.com, as well as follow us on Instagram at The Sweet Cyclists. This is The Sweet Cyclist reminding you to enjoy the ride.